Greetings, participants of the interwebs. This is Francis Caraway here, and welcome back to Meet My Vinyl Collection. So, I realized halfway through my first video that I was taking way too long explaining all these records because I just get so excited when I'm talking about all my records and why I like them and why I like the band and why I like certain songs. So I'm going to try to make this video more concise, but no promises, so sorry if it ends up being too long. Alright, so we're gonna kick it off with my favorite Coldplay album ever, Milo Xyloto. It even looks frickin' gorgeous, which is just, oh my gosh, like, I just love it. Just look at this majesty, just take it in, behold it, immerse yourself in it, just, oh my goodness. I just love this album so much, and a friend of mine, Ben, I knew about Coldplay, but he really got me into Coldplay, and oh my gosh, I, like, owe him my life for doing that, because, holy crap, like, oh my god, their music is just so... I have no words. I have no words. There is only awesomeness, and there is only joy, and nothing else. But, yeah, this album, though. I really wish I had words. This one's going way worse than my first one did. Oh gosh. Okay, but my favorite ones from here, from this album, are Every Teardrop is a Waterfall, Charlie Brown, and I'm trying to decide which one I want to mention. I'm deciding between two, so I'm just gonna name both of them. Us Against the World and Major Minus. I was gonna, like, pick one over the other, but I love them both so much, so I couldn't possibly pick. But yeah, so there's that one. Next up, we have another record, Roulette. This is Feeler of Pure Joy by Ryan Driver. Honestly, like, this record is pretty darn good. I was actually really surprised, because at first, when I got it, I was like, oh, maybe, you know, I only bought it. Truth be fair, I only bought it because of this really cool dinosaur umbrella, and I thought about, oh my gosh, I wish they made those in real life, and I really want one. I'll buy this record. Alan Logic. Sorry. Francis Logic. Great. Alright. Yeah, my real name's Ellen. I forgot to mention that in previous videos for some odd reason, but I think I did. I think I did, actually. Sorry about that. Wow, I'm weird and awkward. But yes, Ryan Driver, Feeler of Pure Joy. Another really easy listening type of music you would hear in, like, a coffee house setting. Pretty radical. Really love it. Favorite ones from here are Spinning Towers, That Which Way the Water Falls, and You Are Beside Me, which is a very cute song, by the way. So yeah, Ryan Driver, Feeler of Pure Joy. Put that one in the pile. Put that one in the pile. Next up, we have the Sound of Music soundtrack. In case you haven't noticed, I'm a huge Julie Andrews fan, and she just turned 80, and she looks better than most 50-year-old people in this world, which is actually pretty, I mean, like, good for her, like, holy crap, like, she looks amazing. I really hope I look like her when I'm 80 years old. If I live that long, I'll probably die in, like, some really awkward accident or whatever, like, some frozen pea from a jet plane will, like, hit me on the head. That was a Chicken Little reference, so for any of you who caught that, you're pretty awesome. But, frozen pea. Anyway, yeah, this one, the reason why I love this record is the same reason I love the Mary Poppins record, is because it really takes me back to childhood and nostalgia, especially hanging out with my cousins, because in a lot of ways, like, your cousins are your first, like, really close friends you have, and I mean, obviously we each had different experiences with our family, but personally with mine, I was always really close with my cousins, and this was one of those movies, and there are actually a couple of, yeah, all of them, I think, were, in, like, one... And, like, yeah, on my dad's side, like, some of my cousins were in a Sound of Music production at, like, their community theater, and it was really cool to see them, you know, bring these characters to life that we, like, always really liked to see as kids. But, yeah, it was awesome, and this, say what you will, think what you will, but this music always just kind of hit a sweet spot for me. Like, that wasn't meant to sound sexual. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to sound weird. But it's really struck a chord, I guess, with me. It really like, resonated with me, just lots of little life lessons and whatnot that it all has to offer, and I really enjoy it. And my favorite ones from here have got to be, of course, my favorite things, Edelweiss, and, what was the one? Why do I like, know the song, but I don't, what on earth am I... Like, I know the song, but I, like, don't know the name of it, like, because I never really paid attention to names. I was just always, I mean, I know all the words, but the name would often escape me. Oh yes, oh yeah, Something Good. That's the one. It just, I don't know. That song was just always, because like that at that moment. Spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen it. Earmuffs for you. But when Captain Von Trapp and Maria like finally realize that they really dig each other, and they're singing this, it's just such a cute, awesome song, and I just really like it. It's just so sweet and just makes them feel butterflies all over my tummy, and I love it. So yeah. Alright, next up we have Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Joan Jett is one of the queens of rock and roll, in my opinion. I absolutely love her, and if I was more of a rebellious type individual, I'd probably be a lot like her. Oh man, I just adore her spirit, I adore her spunk, everything about her. Oops, I hit my hand, that really hurt. But everything about her I adore. She is awesome. I recommend her, like, hands down. Just awesome. And she's from the 80s, which was an awesome time for music, especially rock music. So please check her out. My favorite ones from this one are Crimson and Clover and Bits and Pieces by far. Of course I love rock and roll, but I'm trying to divert it a little bit away from the mainstream so that you might find some other songs by her that you know besides that one. So yeah, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, I Love Rock and Roll. Great album. Alright, next up we have a certified gold LP, which basically has a bunch of kind of late 70s, early 80s hits, like some Air Supply songs, like Don't Stand So Close to Me by The Police, Whip It by Devo, Heart of the Night by Poco, The Tide Is High by Blondie. So yeah, like those types of songs, and I just really like to listen to it because it kind of, it's fun to listen to, especially with my parents who grew up in the 80s and like who were my age during the 80s, and it's really fun to, when they hear a song, they're like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard that song in like years, that's so cool. And it's just always kind of fun to listen to kind of like older songs with my parents, and I've always loved listening to music with my mom and dad, so, but this is one of the records that was really fun to play when I was hanging out with them one day. My favorite ones from here have got to be Hit Me With Your Best Shot by Benatar, just fabulous song, just really gets me in a groove, and Brass in Pocket by Pretenders. Also, I Want to Be Your Lover by Prince, because Prince, enough said. So yeah, certified gold LP with like lots of late 70s, early 80s. Next up, we have the Kings, I guess. Yeah, I was gonna say the King, but they're all three. But like the Kings of punk rock, right here. Like these are the people that like they started punk rock. They started like the punk rock revolution, at least in my opinion. I mean, everyone has their own theories or whatever. But the Ramones, like the frickin' Ramones, oh my gosh, like I absolutely love them. Some people say, oh my gosh, your songs are so simplistic, like they're crap, I hate them, bleh. And it's like, well, whatever, I love them. So, honestly, it's kind of, because it reminds me of, you know, like, it was because of bands like these that, like, awesome modern punk rock bands like MCR and Green Day and stuff like that were allowed to, like, happen. At least that's my theory, because they provided such an awesome foundation for punk rock music, and, like, what it means to just really delve into, like, these, concepts that may seem kind of, like, I don't know, like, grungy or on the surface, and just turn it into something pretty rad and awesome. I've said awesome and rad so many times in this episode. Maybe I am from the 80s. I don't know. But my favorite ones from this one are Judy is a Punk, I Wanna Be Your Boyfriend. Oh, and Let's Dance, obviously. Because with I Wanna Be Your Boyfriend, the song is just so innocent, you know, a lot of times you turn on the radio and all the times you want to hear, like, you're really pretty, you're really hot, but I really just want to have sex with you, ultimately, and it's like, there's just no, there's no, like, that sense of, like, sweet innocence kind of anymore. It's just, you just go straight for, like, the dirtiness, I guess, which I guess, whatever, that's kind of how that music is, I suppose. But, you know, stuff like this, like I Wanna Be Your Boyfriend, or like the Beatles with I Wanna Hold Your Hand, just like these sweet little innocent songs I'm just a sucker for, in case you couldn't already tell. So yeah, the Ramones, first album, excellent. Next up we have I Like Jazz, and this is a really old record. It honestly, yeah, it still smells like basement, because I got this one out of the yard sale, so, for like, yeah, like $2. So, this one has a lot of swing songs on it, like, New Orleans Jazz Lips by Louis Armstrong, and Swing Merry-Go-Round by Duke Ellington, and those are probably my 2 favorite songs on here. But like, I absolutely love swing music. It's probably my favorite type of music to dance to, because you can tap dance to it, you can like romantically dance to it, you can just dance with friends to it, and it's just a good time, and it's really awesome. So I just really love this record, because it's just so, I just love swing music, and I'm a sucker for swing music, so that's why I love it. And kind of in the same realm, we got Judy Garland. Yeah, Judy Garland. I don't really know. I don't think this album really has a title per se. I think it's just Judy Garland. But I've always loved her voice, and yes, she did kind of struggle with, I think, like drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. But I try to focus more on, you know, like the music that they produce and the good things that they were able to make, instead of like what their struggles were, because everybody has struggles. I mean, if we're being honest, and I think, like, sometimes we, like, will, like, not look in favor on, like, a musician or a person because of, you know, certain struggles that they had with their past, with, like, whether that be with addiction or mental illness or, like, what have they, because through their music, a lot of times, artists are able to kind of overcome these things, or just kind of illustrate the better parts of themselves through music, which is, like, really beautiful, I think. So I really love her songs. I love her voice. It's, I mean, obviously gorgeous. She was such a talented woman, and even though she's passed on, I still listen to her songs all the time, and I love it. And my favorite ones from here are the Trolley song and I'm Nobody's Baby, because I love to listen to I'm Nobody's Baby, because, like, whenever I'm kind of bummed out about being single or whatever, and I feel so alone, I just listen to that song, and I'm like, I don't need no man, and I snap my fingers in the Z formation. Next up, we have the very first vinyl record I ever bought, and I'm so happy that this was kind of like my gateway to vinyl records. And this is one of the, not just one of the best rock records, I think, but one of the best records ever made, because, oh my gosh. So, for those of you who don't know, so this is Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison Blues, and if you don't know about this record, I suggest you do some, like, YouTubing or iTunesing or whatever, and listen to it, because seriously, like, even if you're not a Johnny Cash fan, you can still kind of appreciate the fact that, you know, he, like, a lot of people you can understand playing to, like, you know, like, underprivileged kids, or playing to, like, raise money for a good cause, but, like, he did something that was totally, like, different for the time, and he played at a prison, which may seem like, oh, why on earth would you do that, especially considering that he was a Christian man, you know, he was raised Christian his whole life, you know, like, why would he want to play to a bunch of, like, you know, rapists and murderers and thieves or whatever? And it's because that it's kind of, like, even if you don't have, like, any religious beliefs, you could, I hope that, you know, I mean, you probably get the concept of just respecting people, no matter kind of what the mistakes that they've done or what's gotten them where they are in life, but you still kind of see that, like, hope in them that makes them just a person, and someone who's still worthy of respect, or worthy to feel happiness at some point, I suppose. So, and I guess, like, that's why I just really like this album, because you just listen to, you know, like, you hear, like, the bars slamming, or, like, the prison doors, and you hear, like, announcements coming over the intercom, and it's just so real, and you just feel so immersed in what was happening when this record was recorded, and it's so cool. My favorite songs from here, obviously, Folsom Prison Blues, classic, and Give My Love to Rose. Give My Love to Rose, now, obviously, for the majority throughout this record, you know, lots of the prisoners, obviously, they're huge Johnny Cash fans, and they really found connections with his music, but what's really cool is that throughout the majority of this record, you know, the prisoners are hooping and hollering, whoa, oh my gosh, Johnny Cash is awesome! But when they get to this Give My Love to Rose song, which is about this man who's a thief because he's trying to, like, steal to secure his family's future, and he ends up getting shot, and Johnny, like, in the song, finds him by the railroad tracks one morning, and basically what he does is, like, his last words are "Give my love to Rose," which is his wife, and this man that he finds is talking about how, like, here's a bag with all my money, like, tell my wife to buy some pretty clothes, tell my boy that daddy's so proud of him, and don't forget to give my love to Rose. Just, and if that doesn't make you feel the feels, then I don't know what will. But yeah, Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison Blues. I can't talk today. We're off to a great start. Next up, Pat Benatar. Crimes of Passion, yes. This one obviously I got for pretty cheap because it was pre-owned for $5. Pat Benatar, again, another 80s icon that I think can be kind of underrated. Obviously, everybody knows Hit Me With My Best Shot and Love Is a Battlefield, but honestly, there are other songs in here that are so cool that you should really take a listen to, such as You Better Run, Wuthering Heights, and Prisoner of Love. I especially adore from this because because Pat Benatar is just, she's a lot like Joan Jett, where she's just such a badass, and it's awesome. She's just so, like, out there in the very best of ways, and oh my gosh, I adore all her songs, and whenever I'm kind of having, like, a self-esteem blow, I just listen to her songs and repeat and sing them at the top of my lungs, because it just makes me feel so happy. Alright, it's kind of sticking with the 80s theme, I guess, with these next couple ones here. We have the Dirty Dancing soundtrack with, you know, obviously starring Jennifer Grey and Patrick Swayze, God rest his soul. But, this is my top 3 favorite 80s movies. I've watched this movie, I don't know, it's gotta be in the single digits at this point. I absolutely adore it. Everything about it. The dancing, the music, the plot, just everything. I absolutely love it. I'm such a nerd. I quote this movie so very often, and some people may not realize it, but whatever. But, oh my gosh, I just love it. Because I see so much of myself in Baby, because she's such this, you know, this innocent kind of young character who, you know, wants to right a bunch of wrongs in the world, like, right as many wrongs as she can, but she knows that she can't, but she still tries, and gosh, I just love her as a character, and I really relate to kind of the experiences that she goes through. I mean, obviously not everything, but some of the things, obviously. Like, when her parents realize that she's not, like, the perfect little girl that they want her to be, that she's going to make mistakes in her life, and she's going to make decisions for herself at some point. And it's honestly super awesome. So my favorite ones from here are, of course, I've had the time of my life. I mean, as soon as I hear the first 2 notes of that song, like, I just know what's coming, and I just get ready to start, like, mamboing with, like, an invisible Patrick Swayze, because I just want to be lifted into the sky and be spun around like the magical person. Yeah, just awesomeness. And, of course, Hungry Eyes, because the sexiness is real. Alright, next up we have Michael Jackson, and we have Bad, which is a great album. I'm really a huge fan of Michael Jackson. I don't know, I've always loved his music just because it was always different, you know. He wasn't afraid to do stuff that was kind of, like, out there, kind of different, or especially with music videos and certain things like that. And I totally think, some people say, like, oh, he's not worthy of being called the king of pop, but I totally disagree. I think he so very much is, and I love his music, always will. God rest his soul. My favorite ones from here are Smooth Criminal and The Way You Make Me Feel. Awesome songs, awesome album, awesome guy. Great. Next up, we have my personal absolute favorite female rock vocalist of all time, Janice Joplin. Not a lot of people know that much about her because she had a really short singing career, because I think she died of, like, a heroin overdose at age 27, so, like, really tragic. But still, like, the impact she made on the music world was still so important and so crucial, because she was kind of the first, you know, female rocker, because she was kind of late 60s, early 70s, so even before, like, Joan Jett and Pat Benatar hit the scene, she was just out there, like, on it. Oh my gosh, like, I actually have a poster of her on, like, my wall, like, over yonder. I would turn my computer, but, like, I don't want to, like, disorient any people out there. But yeah, she is incredible. I've never heard so much passion in, like, a female rock vocalist's voice in so long. I had to say, like, her and Pink, I think. That rhymed. It wasn't supposed to, but it did. Just have so much, you can just hear the passion in their voice, and Janice just puts so much passion into her music, and even, like, if you watch her live performances on YouTube and stuff, they're just baffling because she just puts so much energy into her performance, and it's absolutely incredible. She's honestly one of my role models, not in the regards to like her drug habits, but in regards to the passion that she felt for the music she made, which I really appreciate. So my favorite ones from here, honestly, I love all these songs, but my absolute favorite ones are Me and Bobby McGee, Bye Bye Baby, and oh, sorry, I had like a catch in my throat, and Ball and Chain. Just awesome. Yes, just, that is all. She's amazing. Check her out. Next up, we have 120 music masterpieces. There aren't 120 songs on here, but there are several like classic things, such as like the theme from Space Odyssey, Beethoven's Swan Lake, Tchaikovsky. I really hope I pronounced that right. Tchaikovsky. I'm sorry. Like, I know the guy, but I don't know how to pronounce his name, and it's really sad. But, like, just, like, a lot of his stuff that the Nutcracker Suite was one of his. And I really love to listen to this record especially when I'm studying or things I need to be focused on, because they're all instrumental tracks, and a lot of times that when I listen to a song or a record or whatever that has vocals over it, I get all just swept up in the vocals and I just want to sing along to everything. But this one especially helps me focus, I think, out of like all the records that I have. Next up we have John Keats record. Now, he wasn't a singer, he was a poet, but this is Sir Ralph Richardson reading John Keats' poetry. So some of you might know, like, Ode to a Nightingale, Ode to a Grecian Urn, When I Have Fears That I May Cease to Be. Those are some of my favorites that come to mind. And I always have been a fan of poetry, but John Keats is definitely one of my faves. And I highly encourage you to, it might seem weird to kind of listen to recordings of people reading poetry, but I think a lot of the times that, you know, if you don't understand what a poem means or something, you just haven't, like, heard it the right way or been delivered the right way or, like, observed it the right way. So that it can really make all the difference, which is pretty sweet. Alright, next up we have... Next up we have Carole King, The Tapestry, and now... she is another female vocalist that I absolutely adore, and I got this one as a present. Actually, I think it was more of a recommendation from my aunt, who also kind of persuaded me to start collecting vinyl, which is pretty awesome! And my favorite ones from here, besides I Feel the Earth Move, which is one of her hits, are Beautiful, You've Got a Friend, and Will You Love Me Tomorrow. So yeah, she's pretty cool, and she has a little cat in the album cover. Isn't that a little cute little kid? I love it so much. Oh my gosh, it's so awesome. Alright, next up we have A Midsummer Night's Dream. Now this isn't like a reading of the text, like the play itself per se, but it's kind of like overtures or music scores, if you will, for that kind of like match the dialogue or like the scenes that are taking place. And it's super cool that I love to put this on and read Midsummer Night's Dream. I actually I'm about halfway through it, I think, like somewhere around the halfway mark. But it's so amazing, like how something like text on a page can just come to life when you add like a little bit of music to it, and it's just amazing. Alright, next up we have a Kiss Double Platinum, and this is, I think, every song by Kiss. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but there are, there are 2 discs in here, and several songs, but, yeah, they're honestly, like, a very iconic rock band just because they were so out there, which I really appreciate, because I love weird, and I love randomness. So, and naturally, I love Kiss. And my favorite ones from here are Firehouse, Do You Love Me, and Detroit Rock City. Just super awesome. Oh, and Beth. Gotta love Beth. Just awesome. So, just favorite group of weirdos right there. Alright, next up we have kind of a compilation of some jazz pieces like George Gershwin Concierge in F for piano and orchestra, Rhapsody in Blue. So basically, this one has Rhapsody in Blue on it, and obviously the Concerto in F. And I absolutely love listening to it because it really gets me in the mood to kind of go, like, hit the town and go on an adventure. Rhapsody in Blue is my favorite jazz song of all time. Obviously, it's hard for me to say that because obviously I haven't heard every single jazz song out there. But I do very much enjoy, yeah, Rhapsody in Blue. It's so awesome. And there's actually a really cool, if you've seen Fantasia 2000, there's a really nifty animation that goes with it. And I believe it's on Netflix. So you should definitely check it out before it's gone. And alright, the last one we have is All for One by the Motels. Now, this is kind of slightly underground band, but, nevertheless, this was another record Roulette one, and it's actually, I think, my favorite record Roulette one, because I took a chance on it, and I absolutely adore it. The lead singer is female, and, I think it's a group of, four guys and a gal, and they have some really, really awesome songs with, like, lots of really cool, like, themes and stuff like that. But I'd say my favorite songs from here are Take the L Out of Love, and I mean, that's my favorite song, but my other one, again, I'm so horrible with titles, and Apocalypso. That's probably another one of my favorites. But, yeah, definitely would recommend these guys. The Motels, super cool, super nifty. Definitely check them out. Alright, so those were all my vinyl records, and hopefully this collection will grow. I know that it's a lot already, but I absolutely love vinyl records. I love collecting them. It's so cool. I have a really simplistic record player right now. I think it's just, it's just a Crosley turntable. So obviously if I'm in like a permanent living situation, meaning like I have like a house of my own or like a nice apartment sometime, obviously I'm gonna probably get a better record player because the better ones aren't portable. They're like meant to be stationary, meant to stay in one spot. But that's definitely on my list of things to get. So alright, so yeah, those were all my babies. I hope you enjoyed meeting all of them. Like, all these are my little lovelies. So I would highly recommend vinyl collecting. However, if you're planning to start, there are some things you should be made aware of, and the first thing being is that it is an expensive hobby. I mean, a lot of these records I actually got pretty good deals on because I went to thrift stores or yard sales or, you know, like secondhand retail stores and thrift shops, stuff like that, but some of them I did have to pay full price for, and they were pretty expensive. I think the most expensive one I bought was, I'm trying to think here, what was the most, I think the most expensive one I bought was, My Chemical Romance, Welcome to the Black Parade. That one was around, I want to say like $26. So not terribly expensive, but for like a poor college student like me, that actually is pretty expensive once you boil right down to it. But yeah, it can be a pricey hobby, so make sure that you are spending responsibly if you want to start vinyl collecting, because it is something that you do need to set money aside for sometimes if you want to get some really nice records, especially well-known ones like Beatles are typically pretty pricey, or there are some bands that have like really rare vinyl records where they just produced a couple of them and then they stopped and they didn't really make any more of them, so then obviously those prices will go up. So yeah, for example, I love Panic at the Disco. It's one of my top 3 favorite bands of all time, or top 5, excuse me. So obviously I really need to get my hands on one of their albums, and I am going to order, well, actually no, I'm set aside, I'm going to probably buy it within the week actually, is their newest one, which is Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die. So I'm probably going to buy that one, definitely, because that's the only one I can get my hands on at the moment. Otherwise, I need to order it, because I really want to get, Pretty Odd or A Fever You Can't Sweat Out eventually, but those records are pretty hard to find on vinyl, and if you do find them, they're going to be super expensive, and super expensive meaning like around $100, so obviously that's going to take some, like financial commitment, so I kind of want to wait a while before I buy, you know, ones like those that are really like rare and collectible and things. So for now, I just kind of purchase like the ones that I really love that I can get my hands on effectively at the time. I usually get all my records from Exclusive Company or Half Price Books. They're great places to buy records from. I would really recommend them, and I'm not getting paid by them in any way or anything, in case any of you have any suspicions about that, because I'm basically nobody on the internet, so like honestly no one would really want me to like endorse any of their products, because nobody really, not a whole lot of people watch me, and like that's okay, you know, like it's whatever. But all I gotta say is that me personally, I would highly recommend, like, if you want to start vinyl collecting, you know, maybe start small, like at thrift stores, yard sales, places like that, and find some things that you enjoy. And before you, like, invest a ton of time into it, like, don't just go out and blow, like, $100 on a bunch of vinyl collections, and then you think, oh, I don't really want to do this anymore. Because it is something that you, if you want to collect them, that you really kind of have to, like, build off of and, like, be efficient with your spending and whatnot. So I've babbled on long enough since this video ended, so I think I'm going to cut it short right here. Thank you all so much for watching, to those of you who stuck through the end of this video, because this is the longest one I've had. It's about 30 minutes, holy crap. Hats off to you. You are that's pretty great of you for sticking all the way through this. I'm thoroughly impressed. I'm thoroughly impressed with you if you made it through. And to everyone who didn't make it through this video because I was talking for so dang long, that is okay, because I fully understand. So, also my voice is starting to go because it's like around 1 AM right now, so my voice is like pubescently sounding right now, and that's not really attractive, is it? But that's okay. So, alright, so those were my records. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you feel so inclined, and never ever ever forget that you are beautiful and awesome. That is all.